Good afternoon, Nick. How are you today?
Great, Doug. How are you?
Just living the dream, pal. Living the dream. Hey, through the first few days, how have you seen Pascal sort of working with new centers, and how do you envision his game changing, if at all, given different kinds of personnel around him in that front court?
Um, I don't know. I don't. First of all, he looks good, Doug. I mean, he's really been a bright spot of the training camp, which is good to see. I don't think that their presence will change much for him. I would say that we've been trying to experiment with some different ways to get him the ball and shots and downhill a little bit more instead of just having the ball. So moving him off ball into position to get so I would imagine that's going to free him up and get him some easy baskets. It looks good so far, some of those things we're doing.
Is that kind of the brainstorming that you and Chris do around the offense? You guys sort of mad scientists work and say, hey, let's try this, let's drop things and then see if they go on the court?
Yeah, I mean, the beautiful thing about having Chris is he's worked with a number of different guys, right? From, I don't know, Zion to AD to Jokic to, lots of different guys that are great scorers in the league, right? So just, talk to them about things that, little tweaks to things that, we work together a lot. So a lot of what we do is similar, but just, again, talk to him about specifics of how he got certain guys the ball and some of these things we can incorporate to our other players, not just Pascal, but other guys as well. Like, worked with Reddick as well, right?
Great. Thanks very much, Nick. Appreciate it. Stay safe down there.
Okay. Thanks, Doug.
Thanks, Dougie. We'll go to Josh next.
Nick, how's it going?
Great. How are you, Josh?
I'm doing well, thanks. This is the time of the year, even a regular season, where you guys would normally be working remotely, early part of training camp in Vancouver, Victoria, Japan, wherever. Has that sort of been what it's felt like so far to this point, or are you starting to feel more like home in Tampa and with your facilities there?
No, it feels about exactly like training camp so far, Josh. Exactly. We even as you may or may not know, we've got a fairly decent journey out here to St. Leo's from downtown. And that's kind of in line with the way we used to do it in Vancouver, from going from downtown Vancouver out to 40th. And I like that. I don't know why I like it, but I like it. And it feels like normal, really. And it really does feel like a normal training camp. The facilities here have been perfect, really perfect. And we're happy and fortunate we chose here. And that way they were able to accommodate us. They've been gracious hosts.
I know the team did a whole bunch of things to try and make everybody feel at home in the bubble, between the family pictures in the room and city pictures in the hallway, even team events that you guys are trying to do. Has there been anything like that in the first week in Tampa to make you guys feel more at home, or anything that you're planning?
Not in particular. I think again, goes back to more like the training camp feel. I do know that when we do get to the makeshift practice facility / offices, locker rooms, I'm sure that's going to be Raptor-fied and Toronto-fied and Canada-fied, if any of those are words, to make us feel like we are at home for sure.
They're words now. Thanks, Nick.
All right, man.
Thanks, Josh. We will go to Mike Ganter next.
Hey, Nick, how are you?
Great, Mike. How are you?
Good, thanks. Full disclosure, I didn't see a lot of the 905 last year. Stefano will probably tell you that. But I wanted to ask you about Paul Watson. I don't know for everyone, but for me, he certainly popped last year in the bubble. We started to see a little bit more of what he could do. Was that the case for you, and then this summer he went and worked with Pascal and Rico and got some good time in, I guess. Have you seen the benefits of that?
Well, first of all, that's correct. He did pop in the bubble a little bit. He's got a long, athletic, defensive kind of makeup. Shooting's really improved, right? He really improved it last year at 905. He looked great in some of our mini camp stuff we did before getting here this summer. Went out to see him a couple times, 2 times out and working out when he was working out with Pascal. Worked really hard. Could noticeably see an uptick in improvement. Just in again mindset, the way he's moving out there, the confidence that he has, attacking, all those kind of things. So yeah, it looks good. I would say he's maybe off to a little bit of a slow start here in training camp, but today was really good. In particular, he had a little bit of a breakout day today, so that's good to see.
When you notice somebody off to a slow start like that, do you jump in at that point and you give them a little nudge, or how does that work?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think that I kind of got to see what's happening out there. Watch the film of practice. Then all of a sudden you go back and you start what I term start cleaning up their game, right? Mm-hmm. Like chop off some of the things. They're doing a few too many things, and maybe if they narrow it down to 3 like specifics, they can just concentrate on those things and do those very well. And that's I guess, yeah, for sure, trying to get them to do that. And sometimes they're being too aggressive, and I think that's almost the case with him. It's like just you're trying to make an impression and you want to really make things happen, but you need to kind of take the easy play here a little bit. Right. And it kind of settles him in and settles him down. And then next thing you know, he's making a few rhythm threes, and we need him to be solid. His role will be to be solid for us.
Got it. All right. Thanks, Nick.
Yep. See you, Mike.
See you.
Next, we'll go to Stephen with Sportsnet.
Hey, Nick. Thanks for doing this.
Hi, Stephen.
It's just about Pascal. Like, obviously, like he's a player who every season, like every offseason, he comes back with something new in his bag, and just wanted to know, like now you've seen him like in group practices, like has he added anything demonstrably new, or is it just more like fine tuning from the season before?
Yeah, I would say that he's fine tuned some of his kind of go-to things. Looks to me like he's got a little bit of a more of a physicality to some of his moves, and then getting space and getting back. Got a little bit of a shake turnaround thing that I haven't maybe seen a ton of, that looks a little bit cleaned up as well and smoother and more skillful. And then again, like I mentioned earlier, I hope that we can get him some actions that are different this year, that get him some easier opportunities.
Great. Thanks a lot, Coach.
Yep.
We will go to Chris O'Leary with Raptors.com.
Hey, Nick. I feel like we probably haven't talked about Kyle a lot, which kind of seems a little strange. But I guess I'm wondering how has he looked? And at this point in his career, and I guess your relationship with him, are there any surprises, or do you just kind of know what you're getting season after season now?
Well, no, I think that first of all, as you guys know, he's always in incredible shape, right? And worked very hard at that all the time. Seems to be always ready to go in the season, just because of his conditioning level. It's great, and I just think that I don't know, like last year to me was his best year again, right? And he seems to find a rhythm of how to come out of the gates, maybe not quite burn quite as much fuel, as he did maybe 5 years ago. He knows how to kind of temper that and continue to play through the course of the game at a high level. Obviously manage a lot of the grind, right? I don't try to grind him very hard, any of that stuff. But no, he looks fantastic, and he's in shape.
Perfect. Thanks a lot.
We will go to William Liu with Yahoo Sports.
Hi, William.
Hey, Nick. Earlier you mentioned kind of briefly about, Chris obviously worked with the Pelicans, worked with JJ, and how that might adapt to someone like Matt. What are some of the things that sort of, you feel that sort of JJ obviously being a veteran in the league, at his position does really well that could be incorporated into what Matt does?
Yeah, I mean they're very similar from the fact that they can really sprint, you know, from a spot to another spot and you know, flow into their shot like on the move, right? That they'll be able to shoot off the move. That's one thing. They're very good at reading screens. I mean, they move and they do a lot of similar things. They're very good at rubbing off screens and being ready to shoot. They're very good at, you know, just relocating, and they're good at sprinting up the floor and catching and shooting. You know, a lot of fast movement shooting is how I would compare them. If that makes sense.
Yeah, and I think one thing with Matt in his rookie year, his usage rate was around 16%, which is, I guess, a little bit low for someone who's in the game to shoot primarily. Are there ways that, first off, are you looking to see that usage number go up this coming season in the second year, and how does that happen?
Yeah, I mean, I think that I'd like to probably, I don't know, I can't decide on this yet, but I'll just tell you one thing I'm considering. I mean, somebody probably needs a role, right? That they understand that they're coming off the bench and let's say the eighth man spot or ninth man spot or whatever, but it's a consistent, you know, chunk of 15 to 20 minutes in the second unit. And that's their job each and every night. And I'm not so sure. Last year it would seem like we were, you know, one night it would be Terrence, one night it'd be Matt, and one, you know, they were fluctuating back and forth, or Norman was, you know, there's all kinds of guys kind of chipping in there. And I think that there's some value in maybe seeing which one of the guys wins the spot and just rolling with that. Right. So that's the first thing that would get his usage up, I think, some consistency. And then obviously there's other things that we could certainly look to run and call more things for, et cetera, et cetera. I mean, but you understand it's you got to play at both ends too, right? It's not like you say, I'm just like you, and I see my eyes light up just like yours do when you see him come in there and start banging shots, right? And same with Terrence Davis, but they got to play at the other end too, and that's the whole player is really the person that probably wins that job.
All right, thanks, Coach.
Yep.
Thanks, Will. Next will be Peter from RDS.
Hey, Coach, how you doing today?
Great, Peter.
First couple of years, your team has really moved the ball effectively, very unselfish on the offensive end. We know that Mark initiated a lot of the offense for you last year. Will we see the same with Baines and Chris Boucher or Len touching that ball in the high post this season?
Yeah, I mean, I think you will. I don't think you'll see it certainly in transition and after baskets and things like that. That's kind of the way our offense is run, right? So that they play through that. Probably until we take a look at it, you probably won't see as much of the half court grind it out. A lot of times you see us Mark wrestling there at the elbow to get the ball in the half court, and us doing a series of cuts and things around that. I don't envision seeing that as much this year because again, Mark's right up there in the very, very top of the world, really, and passing bigs. I think there's some capabilities there with Aaron, pretty decent passer. And then we just got to develop some of those other guys to see what they look like as well.
And last year, you know, you mentioned Norman Powell earlier. He had a great season, 16 points a game. Has he told you what he wants to accomplish this year? And how has he looked the first couple of days?
No, he hasn't told me. We haven't had that discussion. He looks fantastic, though. Again, my initial thoughts going in there is that, you know, Norm needs to, you know, make an uptick in what he's doing. You know, I think Norm's a really good player. I think he's cut down a lot of, you know, some of the things that some of his weaknesses are disappearing. He's playing way more to his strengths. I think his open floor offense has been fantastic. His willingness to work and accomplish what we're trying to as a team on the defensive end continues to increase, which is a great sign. And he can really vault up and get us a bucket too. So yeah, I'm continuing to explore ways for him to keep taking that scoring number up. And that starts with doing things better at the defensive end so he can be on the floor more minutes, and then just giving him a little more freedom, or giving him a little more play calls, or getting the ball in his hands, letting him go to work a little more.
Thanks, Coach.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Next question goes to Aaron Rose from SI.com.
Hey, Nick. I'm hoping you can treat me like a bit of an idiot here. And what does having a 3-point shooter as a big do for an offense, sort of in general? What will it do for you guys, and how does it space the floor differently than not having one?
Well, normally the bigs are protecting the rim, right, Aaron? So if there's something happening at the rim, hard drive or screen and roll or back cut or something, a lot of times the big will migrate to the rim to protect it, the big defensively, right? And then if the offensive big can pop behind the three, it's a long run back from the rim all the way out, or it's certainly a rotational type thing that gets the team. So ideally, if the big can shoot, that's good, right? It stretches the D and puts them in rotations. Then it's really cool if he can also pass it, because if they rotate, he can make the next pass down to the guy that rotated up to him. That's about it, Aaron. As simple as that.
Does it open things up for guys who, like Pascal, who like to attack the rim? Does it make sort of things easier for them?
Well, sometimes it does, right? Sometimes it does, but you got to be that sounds like it should be the case, but sometimes if an offense is just kind of everybody parked on the outside, then they're in a all-in position. There isn't the driving lanes maybe aren't as wide because you're trying to fit 5 of them in instead of 4. Does that make sense? When you have a guy underneath, or a dunker or whatever, or a roller or a hard cutter. I don't know if that makes sense or not, but sometimes you got to have somebody under as well to widen those drives initially at the start.
Thank you for the tutorial.
I'm not sure I explained that very well, but hopefully I did.
Thanks, Aaron. We've got time for one more today. We'll go to Kevin Weiss from the Laker newspaper in Florida.
Hi, Nick. Thank you for the time. Just a quick question here. If you could touch on your relationship and friendship with St. Leo coach Lance Randall and how instrumental he was in helping lure the Raptors to the university and to campus.
Well, we both coached against each other in the British Basketball League, and we both coached the same team, the Birmingham Bullets. So I was there earlier. He came a few years after. That's how our relationship started. Very good basketball coach. And then when we were starting to look around down here for possible facilities, well, I knew he was here and around Tampa somewhere, so we gave him a call, and from the minute we spoke, he was trying to do everything possible to accommodate us, right? And like I mentioned earlier, he did that, and he's been great. Really, it's a perfect training camp setup for us. They're very, very good. I mean, his wife even baked us chocolate chip cookies yesterday, so that's how special the touches are around here.
Right. And just one quick follow-up with that. I guess it was kind of touched on, but I guess it's with St. Leo facilities. I guess it's kind of a remote campus, and the Bowman Center has 10 baskets, 2 full-size courts, the weight room. So pretty much everything needed to conduct what you guys are trying to do in training camp.
For sure. And the configuration of the baskets is kind of unique, just because it gets a lot of space and cleared out, but you're not kind of coming into the same areas of the court. Never quite seen it set up like that before, but it's really nice. It makes it work out really good. And we got 20 players here, so it's hard to I mean, you have a lot of bodies, so you need a lot of baskets to keep everybody active and getting the required shots and form shooting work and all that stuff going. So yeah, it's been excellent, really good.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.